like to welcome everybody to Training Tuesdays. Today we're going to be talking about the Arvan rotary nozzle. Today we have Jessica Case. Jessica is a senior product manager, category of sprays, and Brittany Borden is an area specification manager in San Diego.
So today's webinar is on the Arvan. Arvan stands for Rotary Variable Arc Nozzle. Another name you'll hear on the market that for these types of sprays are rotating or stream nozzles. So all kind of in the same category, but Rainbird's version is the Arvan. So R stands for artery or rotary, and Van stands for variable arc nozzle. Hopefully Van sounds somewhat familiar to you. We have two other nozzles that have that Van nomenclature in it. And variable arc nozzle just means it has a arc that's adjustable right on the nozzle. And so the first spray that we made was just simply called Van. It was a Van spray nozzle. And then kind of version 2.0, or some customers would say 4.0 because they think it's so awesome, was the HEVAN. So it is stands for High Efficiency Variable Arc Nozzle. And this spray was developed in response to tightening water restrictions. So I'm from California and we have really tight water restrictions here. And so these nozzles had to kind of meet a 65% distribution uniformity. And the HEVAN accomplishes that, as well as the U series, where those are the two sprays on the market that can actually meet that requirement. But today we're talking about the Arvan, and I'm bringing all of this up because a lot of times when people hear Van, they'll lump it all into kind of one category and kind of think they're the same thing, and they're not. It's just a feature, but they're three very different spray nozzle types. So you use them for different applications, and their tech performance data is all very different. So make sure you're getting the right nozzle. But as far as Arvans go, in this instance, we weren't first to market. A lot of times we are, but we weren't this time. And we know from experience that when you're not first to market in a product category, it can be really hard to get customers to adopt the product because we're creatures of habit. We're like, I already know how to use this one. I'm comfortable with it. I'm just going to keep rolling with it. And so from our standpoint, we know we have to pack product that we release second full of features to get customers to be like, look, there's no reason I shouldn't, I just have to use this. And so today, as Robert says, we have Jessica Case on the call. She worked alongside the engineers to kind of come up with, all right, what are the features that our customers need to make it to where they just will have to have this in their hands. And so I'm going to pass over to Jessica and let her talk about, some of those features that they added to the rotary nozzle.
Thanks, Brittany. Yeah, I'm going to actually zoom into the product in case a few people haven't seen Arvan before, aren't as familiar with it. So this is our full lineup of the Arvan rotating variable arc nozzle. You can see there are 9 different nozzles. We have 6 kind of standard nozzles that have a range of throw distance. Some are adjustable and some are 360-degree spray pattern. And then 3 of them are specialty nozzles. So on the end here, we have the left and right corner strips and the side strip nozzle. And so each of the distances are going to be color coordinated. So you've got the 8 to 14 foot, that's sort of this blue color, 13 to 18 is the tan, and 17 to 24 is the burgundy color. And then you'll notice the adjustable nozzles have this top of the nozzle that is colored, whereas the 360 spray pattern is going to have the full nozzle top that is the color. So that's how you can tell if you've got an adjustable or a 360 degree. And the adjustable nozzles, you're going to be able to go from 45 degrees to 270 degrees just by pushing down on the top of the nozzle and turning right to open or left to close. And then, like as I said, the 360 degrees are going to spray 360-degree pattern that you'll be able to adjust the radius or the distance in and out. And so a few of the things that we noticed when we wanted to start to develop our own rotating variable arc nozzle was usability. How do we make it really easy for our customers and for contractors to use during installation or even after the fact once it's installed? And the first is that no tools are needed. So you can use your hands to adjust the pattern and the distance. The second is a pull to flush feature. So with the nozzle, if you just pull straight up really hard, that's going to lift the internal components of the nozzle and it'll spray in the 360-degree pattern, flushing any grit, or debris out of the nozzle. So between those two features, it's really easy to use. It's really easy to troubleshoot if there's an issue. Also, as I said, there's only 9 SKUs, so fewer SKUs to stock. And I really think it just sort of streamlines the setup. So I know, Brittany, a lot of customers, as you said, were newer to the market, maybe haven't tried Arvan before. What sorts of maybe questions or hesitations do you get from new users or people who have never tried Arvan?
Competitive rotary nozzles or rotating nozzles have kind of a different precip offering. So you'll see like 0.2, 0.4, and even 0.8. Mm-hmm. And our entire lineup is 0.6. And so sometimes people think that because 0.6 precip rate is higher than 0.2 or 0.4, that the Arvan could be considered like a wasteful or water wasting product. And it's completely false. And so I know that since we created the nozzle from the ground up, we didn't buy it, we made it from scratch. I have to imagine the engineers could have made them with any precip rate they wanted. So I guess my question would be, what was the thought process behind 0.6 precip rate? How did we land there?
That's an excellent question. And I'm glad you brought this up because I do think there is some confusion between different precip rates. Is there one that's better than another? And really the basic answer to your question is that 0.6 inches per hour is really kind of the sweet spot in the middle. So if you think about trying to design a nozzle that can handle lots of different soil applications or soil types, you have a range from sandy soil and clay soil on the other side of the spectrum. And clay soil is going to have a much longer absorption rate. So a lot of times you'll put a rotating nozzle if you have clay soils or you have slopes to help keep that runoff from occurring. So really it's kind of a balance between getting the efficiency right and getting the performance right. So on a rotating nozzle, you have much smaller orifices to throw the water a longer distance. And if there isn't enough precipitation or enough water going through, it will stall and it won't spin as easily. So you want the precip rate to be a little bit higher, but then also keeping in mind that high efficiency where you have large water droplets, so increased distribution uniformity, you're more likely to have the water hit that landscape target, so you don't have to run the system as long. And this is good for watering windows. I know you're in California, a lot of places have requirements about how long you can run a system. And you might have a large commercial site that has a lot of different zones that have to come on during the day. So having those shorter watering windows, getting the water down a little bit faster comes in very handy in that kind of application. So I'm curious, with that in mind, how is this useful for a contractor with design build?
Like all rotary stream sprays, rotating nozzles, they like a little bit higher pressure. So sprays like 30, these style of nozzles like 45. So just something to take into consideration. But as far as the end user goes, once we get them in their hands and they use it, they love it. And for a couple different reasons, I was designing irrigation for 5 years before I worked at Rainbird. And it's really easy when you're at a set of plants to just start dropping symbols in, to lay something down that might meet some strange angle that you have. And you forget how many different kind of nozzles you're putting on the plans that now the builder, the person in the field has to keep track of. And because we made these nozzles, they do so much more now as far as their throw and their arc that we can accomplish a lot more with a smaller set. And so from a design standpoint, I can get still those strange little corners and edges, but I'm not asking the end user to figure out, 20 different nozzles. Also, if you're not working from a set of plans, because they're a true match precip rate, they're 0.6 no matter what. It doesn't change at all. They do not have to worry about grabbing the wrong nozzle and putting it on, the same valve and having different precip rates. So you have, where it might be overwatering or underwatering together. There's no need to worry about that. They're all going to match. And then again, that usability, they are so fast to adjust. I can run around my yard and just push down and it's like a millisecond to get it to the exact arc you need or radius. And it is you can really fine tune them. It's not like 8 to 14 feet. We don't make you go in foot increments. You can really get kind of nitty gritty with them. And so they're really fun to use, really easy to use. And It makes installation and maintenance a lot easier.
Yeah, I think those are really good points. I'm hoping we've got a lot of people on the call today. If you haven't tried Arvan before, give them a try. I think you'll like them. And thank you for, spending time with us this morning.
Thank you, Brittany. Thank you, Jessica. Also like to let everyone know about our live streaming. We've got troubleshooting classes, valve, electrical, decoder troubleshooting. It's for a fee, but this is no selling, no marketing, and it is offered on a regular basis. Once again, take a look, rainbirdservices.com.
Thank you for joining us on this edition of Training Tuesday, product tips for Rainbird distributors. We hope you found today's presentation useful. As always, we thank you for your business and we look forward to seeing you next time.